2 free throws for 60. A 60-point game for Kobe Bryant.
What a performance. What an exit for number 24. You couldn't have written this.
45-50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Step back. Walker. Cardiac Kemba does it again. UConn wins at the buzzer.
Leading by 3 as Boone hits it to deep left. That might send the Yankees to the World Series. Oh, the hero in Game 7.
Hey everybody, welcome to the second episode of the S.P.I.R.E podcast where we aspire to inspire you. I'm Tyrone B and I have a special guest for y'all today. A former NFL player, motivational speaker, minister, and author with his own self-acclaimed book, Outside the Huddle. Welcome, Tyrone Smith. How you doing today, man?
Hey, Tyrese, I'm good, man. Grateful and thankful, man, for the opportunity, man, to be on your show.
Thank you for coming on the show, man. I appreciate you. So let's start from the beginning. Can you tell the listeners where you're from?
Actually, man, I'm from Houston, Texas, man.
Man, that's great. I'm actually right down the road from you. I stay in Beaumont, man. Golden Triangle area.
Okay, Golden Triangle, man. Familiar with the Golden Triangle in Beaumont. Actually, my family is originally, both my mom and dad are from Jasper, Texas, which is right down the street from Beaumont.
Oh, man, that's great, man. I got some family out there in Jasper, too, as well. All right, so I want to start off the podcast with you talking about your childhood. So I want to know, how was your childhood during that time, growing up in Houston?
I mean, growing up in Houston, man, it was trying. You know, my mom and dad actually moved from Jasper in the mid-'70s to Houston for a better job opportunity, and I grew up in Third Ward. And one thing about Third Ward, when I was growing up, it was a community filled with drugs, violence, prostitution, and a lot of different things going on. So with everything that I had to deal with and endure in life, I always knew, man, that I wanted better, but yet I was still grateful and thankful for all the sacrifices that my mom and my dad made for me and my brothers.
All right, so you say you wanted better for yourself in life, or you wanted more in life. So did that lead you to get into football, or is that a reason why you wanted to get out?
Man, no, I wouldn't say football was a reason that I actually wanted to get out, because I didn't really see football as a way out. I saw football as a healthy alternative for me. With everything that I was dealing with, going through and experiencing, I could play the game of football and it could just, take me away from the current things that were a part of my life. And I just love playing the game of football more than anything else.
So since we talking about football, when did you start playing football actually?
Man, I actually started playing football in the 6th grade. Yep, started playing football in the 6th grade. And the crazy part about it is that my mom, she didn't even want me to play football. She felt and thought that I was too small to actually play football.
Oh, man. Now, I can understand that. Moms can be overprotective. My mom didn't want me to play football at first as well. So I can completely understand where you're coming from. So going into middle school football, you play in middle school, you go into high school. How was the high school experience for you? And there's nothing like Friday Night Lights in Texas. Can you explain to the listeners how it was for you to play high school football in Texas?
Man, high school football for me, man, was like no other, because when you think about high school football, specifically in Texas, every young man looks forward to playing football on Friday nights, like Friday Night Lights. But the thing I want everybody to realize and know is that I didn't have the opportunity to play under the lights on Friday night until my senior year in high school. I was a one-year starter on varsity. I wasn't a 2-year letterman or a 3-year letterman. I had to literally wait my turn and wait my time until my senior year before I played on Friday night under the lights as a 1-year starter.
Oh, man. How come you only got 1 year to start? Was it because the other players ahead of you at the time were seniors, or how did that work?
Man, I went to Willow Ridge High School, and at the time when I was at Willow Ridge High School, we were like a powerhouse. We were a well-rounded athletic program. I mean, whether it's football, basketball, track, and specifically in football, we had a lot of guys that actually played. We had like a lot of quality players. So I had to wait my turn. I mean, but I was still determined. I still worked hard. I still dedicated myself to the game. I still wanted to be the best student athlete that I could be. But at the same time, understand and know what it meant to be patient in life.
Right. All right, so let me ask you this question. Since you talked about you only played 1 year in high school, which is your senior year, how was the recruiting process for you during that time? Were you sought after by many schools? Was it just a couple of schools, or how did that work?
Man, what's interesting is that I remember when we played our last football game. We lost in the first round of playoffs. We were playing against this school, Galveston Ball, and we're playing in Pasadena, neutral site. And I had a phenomenal game, had an awesome game, was really playing, like pouring my heart out. And after the game, a lot of the guys on the team were very disappointed. And I wasn't disappointed because I knew I really had gave my all to the game. I played as hard as I could and gave my all. And I remember my coach walking by me, Coach Eddie Bristol. I remember him saying, "Tyrone, you'll play football again." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Son, you'll play football again." Because Tyrese, I was planning to go to the military after I finished high school because nobody in my family had ever went to college. So there really wasn't a big conversation, a dialogue, or discussion about college or higher education in my household because my mom didn't finish middle school and my dad didn't finish high school. And so I was planning to go to the military like a few of my other family members. And when my coach said, "Tyrone, you'll play again," I was like, "Coach, what do you mean?" He's like, "Tyrone, you're being highly recruited." Now, mind you, I had no idea I was being highly recruited at all. I literally had over 50 Division I offers, like D1. I mean,
Wow.
like Baylor, Ohio State, TCU, UNLV, Rice, Temple. I mean, I had over 50 Division I offers, and man, that's unheard of. Number one,
Right.
for a 1 year starter, and so man, I thank God, man, for the opportunity. I was truly blessed, truly fortunate, but man, I was really driven and determined to give my all to the game of football. I practiced hard, I worked hard, and that was like my approach, and it paid off. And I had no idea that I was being recruited. So the recruitment process for me was different from the typical athlete back then, or maybe even now it would be different. And because there were so many good guys on my team, and they were being heavily recruited, the scouts saw this other guy who was a 1 year starter on the other side of the field, number 21, who was just really playing some pretty good football. So now I was thankful. It was an untraditional recruitment process for me, but once I got word that these different schools were really interested in me, then I started with the visits and the campus visits and all those different things.
Okay. So by the end of the recruiting process, you decided to go to, of course, Baylor University. What made you choose the Bears?
Man, you only can get 5 college visits. And so my first letter that I received was from Iowa State. And of course, you remember the first letter that you received. And so, hey, here it is, Iowa State. I'm like gung-ho about Iowa State. I'm like, man, I'm going to Iowa State. They sent me my first letter, man. They love me. They care for me. And so I remember I went on my visit to Iowa State in December. Man, I had never seen so much snow. Being from Texas, Houston, bro, I had never seen that much snow. And I was like, man, I don't know if this is a place I want to go to college. But the thing about it is they got me, man. Went in the locker room. They had my jersey up with number 21, my last name. They had my name in the stadium lights. We went to go view and tour the stadium. They put out all the tricks, man, when it comes to recruiting at that time.
Right.
And now I was like, man, but I remembered all of that snow. And so Iowa State was my first visit because I received my first letter from them. I visited Rice University because Rice University was a school that I was interested in because it was close to home. They have high academic standards. And of course, I had Baylor and I had TCU was going to be one of my visits, as well as Temple University. So those were my 5 visits. So I visited Iowa State first, visited Rice, went to Baylor. And when I visited Baylor, man, it just felt right. I mean, small private Christian university, but it felt right. One thing, the coach at the time, Grant Taft, he assured me, he said, "Tyrone, if you come to the school, number one, outside of playing the game of football, I guarantee you that you will graduate, son." And that was big for me because nobody in my family, number one, had ever went to college, not alone graduated. So to actually go to a college where the coach, he saw enough in me as an individual, not just looking at me as an athlete or a football player, but looking at me as a young man that had value beyond the game of football. And so for him to guarantee me that I was going to graduate and receive my college degree, that spoke volumes about him, his character, and as a person, as well as it spoke to the capacity of the university there at Baylor, man. So it felt right while on the visit. I committed. And so when I committed to Baylor, I didn't go to my visits to Temple or TCU because I felt that I made a commitment to Baylor University. And I told them that I was coming, and I felt that it wouldn't be right for me to visit any other higher education institutions.
It sounds great. Sounds great. Baylor is a really great school. That was one of my first choices to go to school at for sure. Baylor's a good choice, but UNT is my home, so go me green. Shout out to them. So let's talk about your experience playing Division I football. How was it? Was it a great experience, or what was the memorable games during that time that you had?
Man, you know what, man? It was man, playing Division I football, man, it was a dream come true because I had such a love and a drive and a desire to play the game of football and to play on the college level. Division I was a dream come true. I practiced, dude, like it was a game. I mean, I would be out in practice, man, like going full speed because I was like super excited, Tyrese. And one of my memorable games, which I had a lot of memorable games playing at Baylor University and Florida Casey Stadium at the time. One of the memorable games I would say was in 1994 when we were playing TCU. We played TCU there in Fort Worth at Orman Carter Stadium. And it was a game, man. It was memorable, man, because I remember the pregame chapel, a guy by the name of Neil Jeffrey. He came into the pregame chapel, and the title of the pregame chapel, man, was like, If Stadiums Could Speak. And what he was basically saying in the chapel, if a stadium could talk, what would the stadium say about you all as a team? What would the stadium say about you all as players? What would the stadium say about you all as a united group? And he was personifying the stadium in his presentation that evening. And I'm thinking to myself, if the stadium could speak, what would the stadium say about Tyrone Smith? And I'm like, man, the stadium gonna say this kid is a baller. Now, I'm not outwardly saying this, but inwardly I'm taking in what he's saying. I'm like, man, if the stadium could speak, the stadium's going to say, this kid is going to give his all. This kid works hard. This kid is dedicated. This kid is driven. And so, lo and behold, that message like resonated with me so much, Tyrese, that the very next day we played TCU, we kicked the ball off, man. I'm running out on kickoff. I like knocked the guy like smooth out, like for real. I just like I
Oh man.
brought the heat to him. First play from scrimmage. I'm playing cornerback. I'm playing right corner this game. Tight end block down. We're playing cover two. Tight end block down. He comes to the flat. Tight end come to the flat. I hit him, dude. I hit him so hard he fumbles the ball. Second quarter, I remember they had a running back, man, by the name of Davis. I don't remember his first. I mean, his name was Davis. I played right corner. He ran a sweep to the right, but I'm playing right corner. He was like almost to the end zone. I came from the other side of the field. I threw that old fish hook on him, and I reeled him in and straight walked him down before he got to the end zone from the other side of the field. Third quarter, we run a pump block. My boy Nikhil Cody, a.k.a. we call him G-Baby. He's on the left side, on the outside. I'm on the right side. Nikhil Cody, we do a pump block. Nikhil Cody comes in. He actually blocks the punt. I pick the punt up. I run it in for a touchdown, dude. I was like in a zone, man. And so check this out. I only played 3 quarters. I didn't play the last quarter of the game. We beat them handily, man. We basically blew them out. But, man, I didn't play the fourth quarter. I got MVP of the game as a defensive player, like for real. Because I was all over the place, dude. That was like one of the memorable games of my college career. That is the one that stands out the most when people ask me about college football. And I recall that story, how it impacted my life in regards to playing the game, as well as living life beyond the game, as far as living your life to the fullest and making the most out of all opportunities.
Man, that was a great story, man. That Floyd Casey Stadium is probably one of during that time that Floyd Casey Stadium was around, I heard it could get really rocking, especially during that time when RG3 played for Baylor. It was crazy. So shout out to Floyd Casey Stadium for sure. That's a great place to go watch a
Yes,
game.
sir. Yes, sir.
So as a D1 football player, you've had 4 years of experience playing there, I'm assuming. I just want to know, could you give any tips to up-and-coming athletes on how to make it to that level of play?
Man, any tip I would give any upcoming athlete, man, number one, man, is be driven, focused, and determined. It's one thing to have a desire to play at a high level, but if you don't have the drive, if you don't have the determination, and if you're not willing to work, nothing matters. I mean, because to achieve anything in life is going to take determination, drive, and hard work. And so one thing I tell all young athletes today, that if you want something, man, number one, be willing to work. be willing to dedicate yourself to it, and be disciplined, and know that it's not going to be easy. So if it's something that you want and you're committed to that dream, to that goal, to that hope, to that aspiration, man, give it your all. And the thing about it is, if you don't make it, because not everybody's going to make it, man, but if you don't make it, you're not going to feel bad because you knew that you gave your all. And that's one thing that I did. I gave my all to the game. Somebody asked me, man, just yesterday, I was driving Tyrese to the chiropractor, because I go to the chiropractor, dude, at least twice a week, because I have knee issues, shoulder issues, back issues, just, from the game of football, which is a very brutal sport. So I go to the chiropractor twice a week. And young man was asking me, he was like, man, so how often do you go to the chiropractor? I said, man, I go twice a week because, I got back issues, shoulder issues, knee issues. I just got issues from the game. And he said, tell me this. He said, if you had to do it all over again, would you still play with everything you're dealing with and enduring due to you playing the game? 6 knee surgeries and all these other things. I said, you know what? If I had to do it all over again, I would. I would, because it was something that I wanted. And so in life, when you think about things that you want, things that you want to do, hey, make the most out of it. And that was my approach when I played the game.
And I understand the game is a tough game for sure.
Yeah.
So after college, you went undrafted, but you were able to make it onto the 49ers and play a couple years with them. Explain how you felt when you finally made it to the league. Did you feel like you finally accomplished your dream?
Yeah, man. To actually make it, man. It was a dream come true to actually play in the NFL, to play for a prestigious organization, man, the 49ers, to be recruited and signed by the 49ers. And at the time when I signed with the 49ers, Dwight Clark was the general manager. Dwight Clark that made the famous catch against the the Dallas Cowboys. So
Yeah.
Dwight Clark, man, was GM, and he saw something in me, man, as well as the other scouts that were a part of the organization at that time, that I really appreciated. So to play for an organization with the likes of Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Terrell Owens, and I came in together as rookies, Chris Doleman, Merton Hanks, Dana Stubblefield, Brian Young, Gary Plummer, Garrison Hurst, Ray Brown. Brent Jones. To play with all these guys, Darnell Walker, Marquez Pope, Tyrone Drake. To play with guys, man, who won Super Bowls, Charles Haley, to play with guys, man, I think 5 of the guys that I played with the 49ers are now in the Hall of Fame, right? And there'll be others to come. So to have that opportunity, man, was truly a tremendous blessing that I'm forever grateful and thankful for. And so when I did, make it and was signed on with the 49ers, man, it was just truly an awesome opportunity, a moment in time I never forget. And I was thankful for it, truly.
Man, that's good to hear, man. Good to hear. How long was your tenure in the league?
Man, 4 years, man.
Did you only play for the 49ers, or did you play for any other teams?
I played for the 49ers from 1996 to 1998. I had a stint with the Washington Redskins in 99. And I only back in the day they had NFL Europe. So I played with NFL Europe with the Barcelona Dragons in 99 and 2000.
Wow, how was that experience playing in Europe?
Man, playing in Europe, man, it was really cool, man. To play, to have opportunity, man, to play in NFL Europe was different. It was different in the sense that, that everybody made the same amount of money. Everybody made the same amount of money, and it wasn't this issue of ego, because most of everybody that was actually there was actually allocated by their team. Most of everybody there was allocated or sent by their NFL team. And most of the guys that were there, of course, were backup or reserve players. So it was an opportunity for you to kind of work on your craft and work on your skills. But, made some lifelong friends, to play with guys that play with other organizations and come together for 12 weeks during the summertime, man, and play football together, do life together, learn about each other, know each other, and be in another country, another part of the world, seeing another culture, how people live, was truly an awesome experience. So I truly appreciated the opportunity and time that I played in NFL Europe with the Barcelona Dragons. And while I was over there playing football, my wife, she was with me. She was running track over there. So it really worked out, man. And it was just a rich opportunity for both my wife and I, Monica. And in Europe, man, most people in Europe, they don't rush around. Like in America, man, everything is so fast paced. But in Europe, man, from a cultural standpoint, man, people really embrace like time, embrace life, and embrace the culture, embrace the community. And that it was really a breath of fresh air to be over there, man, and to just take in life on the other side of the world, which is moments and times I never forget.
I could see that being a great experience, being in a whole nother country on the other side of the world, being able to still play that sport. The NFL's gotten bigger over there with Europe now, playing the games in London, about what they used to only play, once or twice a year. Now they're playing almost 3 or 4 times a year. Who knows? Maybe
Yeah,
London, who knows? Maybe there might be a team in Europe soon. So I guess we got to stay tuned for that for sure.
no, they actually play American football in Europe still. I mean, they still have teams, organizations. Matter of fact, one of the doctors at the chiropractor office that I go to is from Japan. They actually have American football in Japan. It's growing in Japan. So
Wow.
American football is actually big. I mean, around the world, it's a global sport. I mean, just like soccer is global sport, American football is becoming a global sport. There are some countries that don't play American football, but they're playing it in Europe, they're playing it in Japan, they're playing it in Mexico. I mean, 'cause I have friends who play American football with me in Barcelona, and they're both sports commentators. One works for ESPN Mexico, one works for Fox Sports Mexico, and they cover American football.
That's crazy. I didn't
Yeah,
know that they were playing football in Japan and Mexico. That's crazy. When you love to see it,
yeah.
you love to see the sport of football grow, man. Who knows? Maybe one day it might be an Olympic sport. One
Yeah,
day.
maybe one day, dude. I don't think in our lifetime, though, bro. For real, I don't know in our lifetime. But maybe one day,
Yeah,
though,
for
you know what I'm
sure.
saying? We can be hopeful, though.
Yeah. So you say you only played 4 years in the league. So did you retire or how did that work?
Man, I stopped playing because when I was playing the NFL Europe, I got injured. I was in a football game and I actually hit a guy. When I hit a guy, man, I actually fractured and broke my T5 vertebrae. Vertebrae ran along my spinal column between my shoulder blades. And so um, hit the guy, went to the doctor. The very next day, the doctor told me I fractured and broke my T5 vertebrae. Went through 8.5 months of rehab. And over those 8.5 months of rehab, I realized that I would no longer be playing the game of football. But I was thankful for the fact that May 15, 1995, I received my bachelor's degree in sociology and social work from Baylor University. Although the game of football was taken away from me, my education is life lasting. And so I realized in that moment, in that time, there was so much more I could do in life beyond the game.
Right. No, that's crazy that you say that you study sociology. That's actually my minor right now, actually. So that's great. Also, the fact that you had that you got the degree. Most players that when they leave the sport don't have a backup plan. So for the fact that you had a backup plan and had your degree coming out of college, that's very substantial. So going
Yeah.
into that, after you decide to leave the game, you became a motivational speaker and created a non-profit organization called First and Goal Incorporated. Can you tell the listeners more about it?
Man, First and Goal Inc., man, it's interesting, man, that you would ask that because the thing about it is First and Goal Inc. is a nonprofit organization that I created for the simple fact alone to actually impact the lives of young people. And when you think about, being a professional athlete and you think about all that we can do as individuals in regards to our life, the thing about it is like, what do you do like beyond the game? Think about that for a moment. I mean, if you think about it, like, what are you gonna do beyond the game was pretty much like my thought and my take when I think about life. I knew I wanted to make a difference in the lives of young people. I knew that there were things I had to deal with and overcome based on what I experienced and went through growing up in life by people picking on me, people antagonizing me, people telling me I'm too small, I'm not big enough, I'm not good enough. So all these things I had to overcome, all these things I had to endure. So I wanted to create an organization that would impact the lives of young people, but also make a difference. And so after playing the game of football for 4 years, created First and Goal Inc. And the mission of First and Goal Inc. is providing necessary tools, resources, and outlets for you to be effective members of society. So now here it is. I'm playing this game of football. I'm looked up to from young people because a lot of young people aspire to be professional athletes. At the same time, I can use my influence to make an impact despite what others said and felt and thought about me as a person. Here it is. I have an opportunity to change the narrative in the life of a young person based on their goals, their dreams, their hopes, and their aspirations. So to create an organization that would be impactful, that can make a difference in the lives of young people, I was game for it. I was ready to go. And so this month, man, we're celebrating 20 years of doing this work, man, of impacting the lives of young people.
Wait, can you repeat that last sentence one more time?
I say right now we're celebrating 20 years as an organization that we've actually been impacting the lives of young people. 20 years in.
Man, that is great. That's crazy. That's your organization are the same age. That's insane to me. That's insane.
And that's crazy. So my organization is the same age that you are. That's cool though. That's good. Let's celebrate then.
That's a big celebration, man. For it's good to just see Black men in the community helping the younger generation out because there's a lot of people out there that don't have guidance or don't have father figures out there. So I appreciate what you're doing for kids like that, man. I appreciate that for real.
I mean, appreciate it, man. But the thing about it is, man, some kids are born into situations that they have no control over. Some kids are born already, well behind the start line in life. And so I think like organizations like First and Goal and other people and programs are around to help facilitate the disparity, to support the shortcomings, to support the deficits that young people may have in life, man, because it's not their fault. You understand what I'm saying, Tyrese?
Yeah.
It's not their fault. So I get that. I understand that. So I mean, it's a joy, it's a blessing, it's an honor for me and my wife and our team to do the work that we do. I say our team because I do nothing by myself. Yeah, I may put the posts and talk about the different things that we do, but man, it is truly a collective work, man. We've impacted the life of over 15,000 youth over 20 years, and there have been countless numbers of people who've actually supported me in this journey to do this work with First and Goal Inc., man. So I'm forever grateful and thankful for the opportunity. And I'm looking forward to moving forward to do greater things in years to come.
So speaking on that, moving forward on that, I know, you can't really be around people as much as you want to, social distancing. So what was the last event your organization held for the community?
Man, you know what? Everything has been virtual now. You know what I mean? We've been doing virtual programs and projects the past couple of months. I mean, what's interesting, although everything is virtual, man, since March, with work that we've done with a local partner, with a virtual partner, this company called S.P.I.R.E Inc., we've had the opportunity, man, to impact 3,500 students' lives virtually in like the past 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So now in this new normal, with there being virtual presentations and virtual platforms and programs and virtual leadership, we made connections with other organizations and groups that allow us to do the work virtually. S.P.I.R.E Inc. Have given us a platform through the things that they do with other industry professionals and educators to make a greater impact, to add depth to what we do as an organization. We formed a partnership with Houston Baptist University and the McNair Center of Entrepreneurship and Free Enterprise. We're continuing to work locally with Harris County Youth Service Division, Harris County Community Youth Development virtually. We're launching programs with HISD virtually with a wraparound program for some campuses that we serve, as well as Albany Independent School District. I mean, so we're able to still do quality work and programming, although it's virtual now. And so it's a new normal, but at the same time, we're adjusting, we're moving forward to continue to add depth and capacity for the young people that we serve and support.
Man, that's great that y'all guys are still doing stuff, even with COVID going around. It's just great to see that y'all still holding events and Zoom meetings and all that. Let me know when you guys hold some more Zoom meetings. I'll definitely try to post it on my page, and I'll try to spread the word.
Hey, no, definitely, man. We'll sit down, man, and then what we're doing right now is trying to add depth and value to what we do as an organization, because virtually you can work beyond Houston, Beaumont, right? I mean, we did a leadership camp this summer with S.P.I.R.E, man. I did a leadership camp with like 100-something students across the nation, 128 middle school students across the nation, virtually, right? Did a presentation right when COVID hit with 900 plus students across the nation, 30 teachers, 20 plus parents, all at one time via Zoom. So the thing about it is, man, this is a new normal that we actually have, but it's about how can we level set to reset and pivot to make the most out of the opportunity. That's what it
Right.
boils down to when you think about life. I told you earlier, if the stadium could speak, right? If you think about your life and reflect on your life, and see where you are right now, are you living your life to the fullest? Are you making the most out of every God-given opportunity given unto you? We only have so much time. The clock is ticking. Will you make the most out of it? What will you do right now that you didn't do as well yesterday to be that better version of yourself?
Right, man. Right. That's a big, profound statement for sure. For sure.
Can I drop the mic right there?
You might have to drop the mic on that one, man. That might have to be something that'll have to be something that I will have to live by going forward for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Now I want to go talk about your next venture. So in 2016, you released your book called Outside the Huddle: Steps to Developing a Game Plan for Life. What did you
Yes.
decide to write your book, and how long was the process of it getting published?
Man, I knew I wanted to write a book, man, when I was younger, but I never thought I would have saw myself as an author or a writer because I had troubles in school in English. And so the thing about it is, it's just right here is that we had a capacity to do amazing things just as long as we believe. And so here it is. I remember my wife and I were together. I was preparing for a presentation. I was writing this outline. And as I was writing the outline, I was like, man, dude, this could be a book, right? And so my book, Outside the Huddle, Steps to Developing a Game Plan for Life, is really based on 8 practical principles I've applied in my life that go back to my childhood experience up to now. And like these principles, where I talk about purpose, plan, process, pitfall, people, practice, progress, and pausing for your life. So I talk about these 8 practical principles and how I've applied these principles in my life. And I give relevant life examples and relevant life stories about how I've applied these principles in my life. And then I have a challenge at the end in regards to how you can actually apply the principles in your life as well. And so here it is. I'm like, man, I could write a book. And so I created the book, man, and it was a true lesson, man, to be able to do so and to release it like 4 years ago. And then while even writing the book, I was like, you know what? I think I should write a journal. So I wrote a journal companion, Outside the Huddle, the journal. And it's a 52-day writing challenge that goes along with the book where you can pretty much like journal specific things that relate to each principle as it relates to your life. So to be an author, to be a writer, I never would have thought that when I was younger, but it's a reality and I'm grateful and thankful for it because I'm a reader, right? My wife and I, Monica, we encourage our sons to read. We encourage them now to be better writers as well, not to just write for academics, but to just be a creative writer. So we're encouraging them to actually like write more. And so right now I've been really prayerfully considering, man, preparing for, book number 2. Of course, they say once you write a book, man, you're going to continue to write. I have multiple outlines for other books already, but I'm really ready to write another self-help book as well, like how almost similar to first Outside the Huddle, but maybe a little different. So I'm actually ready to start working on like book number 2. So I'm ready to release another book in 2021. So you heard it here first, dude. All right. So I'm looking to release another book in 2021.
Man, that sounds great. I'll definitely have to check out that book when it comes out. And I definitely would be interested in purchasing the Outside the Huddle book. So let me ask this question. Where can we find your book at?
You can get my book on Amazon, but this the benefit right here. If you get the book through my website, tyronesmith24.com, it's cheaper on my website, and you can get a personalized autographed copy if you order through my website. So you can get it on Amazon, which is cool, but if you order the book through my website, TYRONESMITH24.com, through my website, you can request a personalized autographed copy, and you get it for a few dollars cheaper.
Oh, man, that sounds like a deal to me. I'm going to have to definitely check that out. Y'all should go check that out, too, when y'all get the chance, for sure.
Check it out, man.
Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about was you becoming a minister. How did that come about?
Man, the church I go to is the Church Without Walls. I've been a member at the Church Without Walls for over 25 years. And what's interesting is that I actually came to the church by way of my wife, the Monica Smith. And when my wife and I was actually dating in college, I would come home with her when we would come home on the weekends, and I would go to church with her. And so, man, our pastor, man, Dr. Ralph Douglas West, phenomenal pastor, teacher, and leader, motivator. speaker of the gospel, man. He is like that guy. And I've been faithful to him as a member. And my wife and I started volunteering with the middle school ministry. We were over the middle school ministry. And I remember the youth pastor at the time, his name is Walter Weekly. I remember him saying, hey, man, one day, man, you're going to be over the youth ministry. I was just like, man, whatever. He was like, no, God told me one day you're going to be over the youth ministry. I'm like, dude, how is God going to tell you something and I tell me something? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so here he is, man, fast forward years later, man, I'm the youth minister. And so my wife and I originally were on staff at church, helping facilitate the recreation ministry. We were over the sporting programs, the sport and athletic programs at the church. Soccer, basketball, fitness. I mean, Monica and I, she's a former track athlete. I'm a former football player. And so we know sports and we work well with people. So we work with people who had different skill sets and the different things that we actually offered as a church. And then it just went from Monica and I really just doing well over to the recreation ministry. Then we oversaw the summer camp that we had there at the church. We grew the summer camp from 6 staff and 60 kids to 5 years later, 84 staff, 575 kids at the church for a summer program. And our pastor's like, man, you know, God is really giving you and Monica a gift. And I remember I was speaking in California. I was out of town speaking in California, and Pastor West had reached out to me. And so we had to talk, had the conversation, boom, mapped out a plan. I was overseeing the youth ministry. I've been doing facilitating student ministry for maybe about 15 years, right? Been working in youth ministry 20 years. We've been leading youth ministry for 15 years. So at the church where I was, I'm thankful for my pastor, man, and my friend, Dr. Ralph Douglas West. My wife, number one, for actually bringing me to the church and letting the Lord use her by being an instrument in the vehicle of using her influence for Christ to extend the invitation to me to actually come to the church. So I'm just thankful, man, to be in a place and space, man, where I can use my influence to make an impact in the church, campuses, and communities around our world.
Man, that sounds great, man. Sounds great for sure, for sure. I understand that 100%, especially with the younger generation, I would say like most of the younger generation, lose their way sometimes. I'm not going to say that I haven't. There's been times where I've lost my way. I haven't been close to God. So, but just knowing what the bond that you have with God never falters away, or His love for you never goes away. So, just building that bond, has helped me grow as a person, and it'll definitely help everybody else grow as a person as well, depending on whatever religion that you're in, for sure.
Yeah, no, nobody's perfect, man. But I mean, we all need like a spiritual guide or a spiritual compass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever religion, we all need that spiritual guide and spiritual compass. And I think the thing about it is that nobody's perfect, right? But we all have an opportunity to do better and be better. I mean, I thank God for free will. What is free will? Free will is the ability to make our own choices and decisions as individuals. So at the end of the day, what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to have a better life tomorrow? If you choose to have a better life tomorrow, you have to make wise choices and decisions today. That's not a mic drop, bro. For real. I'm about to drop the mic on that one.
That's the minister talking. That's the minister talking right there, for sure. So, man, Well, we're getting towards the end of our podcast, man. During this time, I would like you to explain your future endeavors and where we can follow you. So you have the floor.
Okay. Hey, man, everybody, thanks again for tuning in. Tyrone Smith. Man, you can connect with me on our website for our nonprofit organization that we're celebrating 20 years, First and Goal Inc. You can check us out on our website, teamfirstandgoal.org. It's TEAMFIRSTANDGOAL.org. And if you want to connect with me, man, to actually get my book, to get a personally autographed book, you can go to my website, TyroneSmith24.com. And you can connect with me on Twitter at Tyrone24, Instagram, Tyrone24_7. You can also find me on LinkedIn. And for the future programs we actually have going on as an organization, we are celebrating 20 years. Yes, we're celebrating 20 years as an organization for First and Goal Inc. I'm very grateful and thankful for that. If you'd like to support our mission, our vision, you can go to our webpage and hit the donate link and support in any ways you can. It's a collective effort to make these things happen in regards to what we do as an organization and as a team. And I'm really looking forward, man, to the new opportunities that we actually have with NEPRS Inc. We're going to be partnering with NEPRS Inc. to add more depth and value to the work that we do virtually by connecting with students around the nation. Matter of fact, we're going to be doing a mentoring conference, a mentoring leadership conference in November, with a school district actually in California, right, with all the students in this particular school district, and it's all going to be virtual. So we're looking forward to that, with that partnership with Nepers Inc., with First and Go Inc., and we also formed another partnership with the McNair Center of Entrepreneurship and Free Enterprise at Houston Baptist University. So we're very grateful and thankful to Dr. Clark and the team at Houston Baptist University with the McNair Center. I'm thankful, man, for that partnership with Houston Baptist, with the McNair Center of Entrepreneurship and Free Enterprise, as well as the school districts that we work with, man, Aldine ISD, HISD, and Harris County. So I'm thankful, man, for where we are, because, you know, there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of people, man, that are not working. So I don't take it for granted to still have the capacity to work. I don't take it for granted to still have the capacity as a speaker presenter to partner with University of Houston Downtown to be a leadership series speaker for the University of Houston Downtown, to still do the work virtually. So I'm grateful and thankful, man, number one, for every healthy breath, but I'm still grateful and thankful to have the opportunity to still do the work that God has called me to do.
Once again, I thank you for joining the podcast. It was great having you on, man. It was great to hear all the stories, from you being in football to motivational speaking to your book to even in ministry, man. Once again, I thank you for being the person you are, and just thank you for joining the podcast.
Man, thanks for having me on, man. Let's stay connected, man. Let's keep it going. Grateful and thankful, man, to be on episode 2. Keep it going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, guys, that concludes the end of this episode. Thank you guys for listening. Support the podcast by checking it out on the website in the description below, and subscribe for future episodes. But until next time, peace out.